What's up, everyone? This is another day on the road to 1900. These games I played previously. I haven't been able to film myself recently while playing, but I'm just going to review them because I kind of like how I played in both games. I did a lot of things right in this game, and in the next game that I show you as white, I did a lot of things right, and then I blew the entire game. But maybe I won it at the end, so you just have to wait and see. So this first game, I did 15 minutes plus 10-second increments. I don't normally play like this, but I was at work last night, and I just played it with more time just in case I had to go do something. It was the night shift, so no, I wasn't shirking any responsibilities, but I just played it on a longer time length. So the first game, I play white with the Nimzowitsch Larsen. So it opens up in B3. They usually move to E5 or D5. He moves to D5, and then I finish my little Fankoda bishops on B2. He goes C5. This is all common stuff. He develops his bishop. I develop my knight. I think it was slightly more accurate to develop this knight first, but it doesn't really matter too much. Then I develop the knight. And right here, I'm seeing tactics already, like like knight takes on d5, which I do because this opens up the diagonal for the bishop, and I would get his rook if he takes on d5. So he just develops his knight instead. I take off that knight, he takes back with a pawn, and then I put my knight onto the edge of the board in hopes to take this bishop off. His bishop can't go here or else it'd be captured. If it goes here, I probably would just push it, and if it goes back, I would be trapping it. So he can't really go anywhere. So I think, let me see. Yeah, he pulls back, and I just develop my queen, onto f3 because his bishop still can't get away anywhere. So whenever I want to snap it off, I'll just take it off. He moves his knight back, but this is already when I see tactics lining up. I already see that I could take his king, take his knight. He would take back with his pawn, and I'd check him, potentially winning his rook if he doesn't move his king over to f8. Once I took, though, he resigned just because he realized that I was crushing him, and after he takes, and I take back with check, I'd probably take his bishop or something. So going to the game review real quick. I played with 93% accuracy. It was pretty simple. It was a pretty simple game for me, just because I've been playing this opening so long now, that this opening is very dangerous if you memorize the lines, basically, in the beginning. It's just so many ideas with the strong bishop diagonal. And that rook, I can't even name how many times I've got that rook in the corner, playing all types, rapid, blitz, or bullet. Also, if you guys want to see bullet or blitz games, just let me know in the comments. So that was game one, pretty simple game. That's how I like to play normally, but it doesn't always go to plan sometimes. So let me show you a second game. This is 10-minute time, 10-minute, 0-second time increments, and I started off the same way, b3. He goes e5, I go b2. He just closes in his dark squared bishops, which they do sometimes. The most common form I see is not pawn here yet. I see knight here. I develop the pawn. They go to d5 then, and that's when I pin his knight. And if they're not careful, say they just develop the knight, then I can already just take off his pawn because they sometimes forget that it is pinned to the king, therefore he can't take it. Okay, so where were we? He closed it in, I developed my pawn, he develops his knight, I push c4, which is common if he doesn't take out his knight yet, so I don't pin it this time. He develops his bishop, I develop my pawn. I'm going to Fankoda my bishop this way. This is something I don't normally do. I usually develop my bishop either to e2 or really b5, and then sometimes whenever I push this pawn to d3. I never really Fankoda the bishop, but I thought it looked interesting. So I developed the bishop. He prevents me from taking his pawn on b7. Both of us develop our knights. I develop my other knight. He moves his knight into c5, maybe looking at the e4 square, or just making it a stronger knight. I try to get that knight out of there right away. He takes, I take back, and he gets his knight out of there. I'm looking at that bishop again. I like getting the bishops off the board, especially if he has two of them. He pushes his pawn, I take the bishop. He takes back, I take the pawn, which I think is an inaccuracy. Now I have an isolated pawn, and I castle, and he castles too. Centralize the rook, simple things. He pins my knight to my rook, and I just want to get that bishop out of there. He takes my bishop off. I take his knight, and he develops his rook. Right now, position is pretty much equal. Tries to get his queen active, I close it down. Bring my knight back, trying to look towards routes towards the king. I just want to be looking at that king. Maybe get my bishop over here, looking at the king. Move my queen in. This looked really nice. I was thinking of potential sacks. There's a whole bunch of tactics that didn't work yet because of the knight, but I just was keeping my eye on it. If you ever and I was also looking at if he ever moved this knight, I would have been able to take his rook with check and take it right back with my queen. So he just had to keep an eye on this stuff. He moves his king over. I move my bishop to tempo the queen away. He moves his queen over to b6, targeting the d4 pawn. I centralize my bishop, and he tries to do a pawn break on the other side of the board because his king is getting really ambushed. He wants to try to create some counterplay. I move my bishop in, targeting his d7 knight. Just trying, if I get one of them off, I can probably do something good. He takes off my bishop. Sorry, my bishop. And right here I was like, can I sack my rook? And when he takes, I was thinking takes with the pawn. Let me see what I did. I took with the pawn. Right, and now I was thinking if I could sack my rook, because once I sack it, he could take, and I'll go here, threatening all sorts of things. So this is when I was like, I gotta go for the sack. So I did end up sacking it, and he took back and followed through with my plan. He moved his king over. I checked. He moved his king over again. I brought my rook in the game, just to bring it up to the 7th heaven. He pushes it. And right here, I believe I had mate in 7 that I missed. So I checked him again, he blocked, I took, he took, and then I took with my queen. And right now I know my position is dominant. He moves back, I check him, I just keep checking him. I don't know how to force him into a position where I could checkmate him with my queen and bishop. So I keep moving, and eventually just push the pawn, looking for a mate on f7. He takes with check. I move my queen, and my king. He checks me, and I take the pawn, and that's when he moves his king. So I check him, and check him here, and right now I'm like, I don't know how to checkmate him, and I was thinking of, is there any mating nets? He moves his king down, and this is where, hold on. I believe I blundered the game away here. Yeah. I didn't calculate anything. My time is running low. I was like, alright, I just gotta move. I forgot that I was down material. And he just took my queen off, and now I'm down I'm down an exchange, and I have doubled pawns, and he takes it, so I'm down a pawn as well. Check him, I'm just trying to move fast, hoping I can flag him. Right here, he blundered the game away then too. Instead of moving his rook to a8, he had to move his king to f6. There's nothing he can do to stop a queen, and he took my bishop, I took his queen, he moved, and he resigned after a check. So I got lucky in that game. That was against an 1832, so I think I did win around 10 points of material, so I was happy about that, but I was mad that I just blundered the game away in a pointless fashion. I definitely had an easier win. Just looking at a quick game review, I played with, I believe it was 81%, yeah, 81% accuracy. I did have a brilliant, but I also did blunder the game away. So going through it quick, our normal setup. Took the bishop off. Let's get to that dominant position. right here. I was completely winning. I was up 3 points of material. Moved my bishop in. That's what I calculated. Check, and then I just couldn't find the checkmate. I had mate in 4. Let me see if I can find it. Check. That's what the computer wants. I have no idea about that. I don't think I would have been able to find that. But ended up getting the win. Not a pretty win at the end of it, but managed to get it done. Let's see. Yeah, right there, that rook. He was crushing. I can resign. Thanks for watching, guys. I just wanted to show you those games that I am still playing chess. I just wasn't able to film a couple over the holiday. And yeah, I'll be coming out with some more videos soon. Just let me know if you want to see different content styles like Blitz or Bullet, or me reviewing some games or playing against other people. Just let me know. I'll see you then. Peace.